and welcome to another edition of Facing the Nation. I'm Malika Ramsey. Thank you so very much for joining us. Before I go for it again, I like to acknowledge those of you who follow Facing the Nation in the world of social media. Most of you are talking about those great achievements that the Vice Chancellor of the University of Guyana would have made. As you know, we had him on last week, and he talked about all of that, and we are indeed grateful for the fact that they're publicizing it and that there's development going on at the University of Guyana. I like to remind people that even though there's so much negatives going on in our society, we must take some time to zone in on the positives and the positive people and the positive things happening that will indeed certainly help us all to be better citizens. And we have to remember also to take the advantage and to become better. Well, on today's program, we're returning to local government business. As you know, a few weeks ago, we had few of the younger candidates on our program. We're planning to have another, and when I say young, I mean not as seasoned as the seasoned ones. And on the first half of the program, however, today it is my pleasure to have two seasoned, not only politicians, but in terms of local government elections. She's no stranger to this program, even though she owes us because she hasn't been here for a while because of her busy schedule and so on. But we forgive her for that. It is my pleasure to welcome back to Facing the Nation after a very long time the current mayor, Her Worship the Mayor of Georgetown, Mrs. Patricia Chase Green. Welcome back, ma'am.
Well, a pleasant good day to everyone, and thank you, Malika Ramsey, Ms. Ramsey, for inviting me to your program.
Okay.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Great pleasure to have you. And she is accompanied, I'm going to somewhat describe him as her bodyguard today. This is a season where I think he's extremely protective of her. But he's one of the candidates, and they will explain it, because I like to remind people that local government elections are still new to some of us, depending on your age, because we've had it in 2016 after decades. So there still takes some time to explain it, the constituencies, how it works, how the candidates, I like to call them the hopeful counselors. So it's always good to have them to be educated. So for the first time to Facing the Nation, and I trust that it wouldn't be his last time, because he's one of the hopefuls. So we hope him nothing but success, Mr. Troy Garraway. Those of you who know him, especially within the PNC family, the People's National Congress Reform, you know him as Shaka. But we welcome to Facing the Nation for the first time, Troy Garraway. Welcome, and it's a pleasure having you, sir.
Thank you, Malika.
All right. Great. Viewers, even before I get into the discussion, I like to remind you that any candidate you see on this program, any person I'm pushing for local government elections, a vote for them means a vote for a partnership for national unity. Again, I like to take this opportunity to remind you that, yes, the APNU AFC is the government coalition, but for local government elections, we are running as a partnership for national unity. That is what democracy is all about. So when you go to vote, vote APNU. Lady and gentlemen, let's get right into it. Viewers, in the past, not only the mayor, not only Her Worship the Mayor, other candidates would have explained that what you are councillors, and in the sense of mayor, and I think it's deputy mayor, the councillors who are elected choose the mayor and the deputy mayor. But even before we talk about that, you are running again for Constituency 12. Let's talk about Constituency 12, the areas that it entails, it hugs, and the other matters relating. Let's talk now.
Okay, Constituency 12 is one of the largest constituencies in Georgetown. The boundaries are Mandela Avenue, Aubrey Barker Road, way down to the back by the Cummins Lamaha Canal, and then to the Sussex Street Canal.
Okay.
Right? Those are the boundaries. Within that boundary, you have the communities of Stevedore Housing Scheme, Postal Housing Scheme, North Rhineveld, Festival City, Tocqueville, Lamaha Park, Lamaha Springs, East Penitence, Guy Hawk Park. So it's a very large constituency. And we try to do as best as we can. I've been working along with, since elected at the last local government election for the constituency, myself and my team would have continued to work along with the council in the area. While we may not have done every single thing that is required for a community, we were able to do some works, bearing in mind, while the council was active in doing works, its normal core duties as constituency reps in this new local government system. Residents were looking forward to councillors if they bring a complaint, look, I have a broken bridge in my area, or I have a lamppost without any light. They were looking forward to those councillors to be able to do that kind of work. It is the first time in the history of our country that in 2018, $5 million was allocated to each constituency so works can be done in those areas.
It was less before or none?
It was none before.
Okay.
Whatever revenue that was garnered by the council was used to do all the works in entire Georgetown, which included all of the core duties we were expected as a council to perform. But in this case, a bridge that connects two communities might have gone bad, and the council's coppers is so few, it would not have been able to do that. And person would say, oh, but you're my constituency rep, and you can't even repair a bridge. What has happened in 2018? There was $5 million allocated. And so with that $5 million, every representative in the constituency, in all 15 constituencies, were able to do works. Most recently, in Festival City, we would have been able to do works, and we've been having some kudos for that, because if streets that were underwater, even in the sunny period, if you go there now, are chip dry. We have been able to build bridges to connect, most recently, the two bridges by the bus stop that connects Festival City and Guy-Hawk. We were working with Ministry of Public Infrastructure, and from the Office of the President. We've been working also with UG students to do works because they're social studies students who will have to do a project. There were students who would have chosen Lamaha Park. And if you go through Lamaha Park, you will see a welcome sign saying welcome to Lamaha Park. It would have also had street signs that they had never had before, identifying where you can find lots. And there's work being done in collaboration with the mayor and councillors. Presently, if you're going to Stevedore housing scheme, the Jacksonville Canal has now been cleaned. There's still some tidying up to do there. And the roads in Stevedore scheme is being done. Before the end of this month, there will be monies allocated for works to be done on the canal. And the canal starts from the sluice going straight down to the siphon. Because we have people living on the reserve, it will be done by manual labor. In some areas, you may be able to put a machine, but other than that, it will be done. And when that area is clean, they will have better drainage in that particular community. Because we would have had a meeting with Ministry of Public Health, Ministry of Public Infrastructure, Ministry of Communities, and residents for South Georgetown. And they would have said at that meeting that the drainage was the most serious problem at the time.
Okay. Madam Mayor, I'd like to pause you here. And this is even before I bring Shaka into the conversation. And viewers, that would have been a lot. And I allowed her worship to talk about that, because one of the first things you hear people asking, what have you done in the period? So I'm happy that you outline all of that. However, I'm also happy that you talked about the persons on the reserves and their contribution. Sometimes when you get complaints from the other the regularized residents, so to speak, of the communities, one of the things that they would say that some of the problems are being caused because of the persons living on the reserve. Now, are those immediate problems, and is there a way to even fix that, and how soon can it be done if there is a need to?
Well, the most immediate problem will be the drainage.
Okay.
Because the machines cannot because it's the reserve that was left for the machine to go along that reserve to clean those canals. Because they're occupied by squatters, in some cases the machine can go between the two houses.
Okay.
You would have an old growth of the bush, and so therefore you have to put manual labor in it. It has been quite some years we were not able to clean those 2 canals. But we will start cleaning that, at least 1 canal, before the end of this month.
Okay, all right. I call him Shaka, but again, for those of you who are now joining the PNC family, will know him as Shaka. But on the ballot, you'll see Troy. On the campaigning and everything, you'll see the name Troy Garraway. Okay, let's talk about you now, as I like to describe as a hopeful counselor. And let's talk about all of that, the area and so on, why you decided to run. Let's hear it.
All right, so let me give a backdrop to the local government election and the campaigning and the choosing of candidates. Georgetown is divided into 15 constituencies. And each constituency would have 2 representatives based on the new law that came out for the last local government election. We use that same law now, so you have 30 councillors going to city council.
Okay.
When those 30 councillors meet in council, they elect the mayor and the deputy mayor for the city. Each constituency would have 2 representatives. One would be what we call the constituency representative, or the first past the post candidate. That is the person whose face you would see on the ballot box. So you vote for an individual in this case. And then there's what we call the proportional representation aspect of it, where each constituency can put up more than 1 candidate. And based on the number of votes you receive from your party or group, a candidate is sent to the city council. Let's use my constituency for example. Our constituency candidate, or our first past the post candidate, is the sitting mayor, Patricia Chase Green. So you'll see her face at the bottom of the ballot. So you vote for Patricia Chase Green. However, at the top, you wouldn't see my name or any of the other candidates in the constituency, because we represent the APNU. So you see the APNU. So a vote for APNU at the top there is a vote for Troy Garraway. So that is how you vote. You vote at the top for the party or group of your choice. We were advocating APNU, and at the bottom for the person you want to be your real representative at the council. I decided to run for local government elections because I was primarily pressed by the residents of my community, which is Guy Hawk Park. I have been very involved in community matters in and around Georgetown. I bring to the table 6 years experience as a regional councillor. I sit in the RDC at Region 4. And so the residents of my community saying it's time for us to have this type of leadership at the level of the council. In some discussions with the Minister of Government, I was told by her that sometimes when you want to effect a change, you have got to become that change. I haven't been comfortable with some of the things that I've seen going on at the level of local government and representation in terms of my community, and so I decided maybe if I become part of the council, I can give them the kind of representation that I expect them to get at the level of the council. Not taken away from what the other councillors did, but I think I can be better able to represent my community. That's my interest in becoming a candidate.
Troy, even though clearly you're running because you're not fully satisfied with what is happening in your community, do you believe that from the time we had the first local government elections after decades, which would have been in 2016, have you seen any sort of changes, though, especially with a new council, fresh faces, fresh councillors? If not, even if you've not seen the changes, is there the potential for betterment, especially after the 2018 elections, regardless of who goes where?
Well, the last local government elections, I campaigned furiously for the sitting mayor. I thought she was the best suited person for the job at the time, and so I put aside everything else in my campaign
and
for her.
I'm assuming you still think she's best
and I still think so for her. She knows that. Apart from that, yes, I've seen changes in my constituency. I've seen changes in Georgetown. We can now walk Georgetown and breathe freely. There's no more piling up of garbage in the Garden City. In our constituency, let me deal with my constituency, we were able to achieve some things that we weren't able to done in the last 10 or 12 years. The bridge that links the Guy Hawk Park to Festival City, commonly known as the Buster Bridge, it was in a deplorable state, and just recently we were able to do it with the money that was allocated to the mayor. She's the rep of the area from the local government ministry, from central government. We were also able to link Lamaha Park to North Ramsey through bridges too. The Jackson Street Canal that she spoke about is a sore issue because that is right in front of Uncle Eddie's home, and we're very thing about our old people and the way they're treated and so on. And we were able to clear that trench, and that is a plus for us. We were able to do some work in the part of our constituency that sometimes people forget that it exists. The postal housing scheme, Stevie Doe housing scheme. If you went into there just 2 months ago, you couldn't have drive properly in there.
And I'm feeling a bit ashamed because I forgot it exists.
The roads were in a deplorable state, and we must say thanks to Minister Annette Ferguson. We were able to get her to give us some assistance in doing those roads. And so many other things. We have certain parts of the constituency is fairly dark at night. We're working on a project to put street lights there. The garbage collection in the community is more constant now. And you have a set date where every Friday morning people know that the garbage truck would come. They can put out their drums and so on. Everything, even the water supply is better in the community. I've seen a lot of pluses in my constituency. But what I'm saying is that more can be done. And I think I can be part of that team that can deliver more to my community. In fact, we were taking up in our constituency the initiative by the president to make Georgetown a green city. And we're hoping that once elected and go to the council that we can make our constituency the model constituency in Georgetown. So constituency 12, if you see my flyers and so on, you see I'm advocating for think global but act local. Because we're thinking global and all the global warming and all this going on and how our constituency can think. Just recently for World Environment Day, we had a tree planting exercise not too far from where the mayor lives. All this part of plant a tree now so that we can preserve the earth for the next 7 generations, so that when our children and our nieces and so got big, they can say this is what our foreparents did for us. So that's what we're doing in our constituency.
Perfect. Go ahead, Madam
One
Mayor.
of the most important things you would have forgotten is that we were also working in collaboration with the Ministry of Public Health and the clinic that is presently in Festival City will be expanded.
Okay.
And so it would be a polyclinic where you will have more services being offered. So instead of going down to the Georgetown Public Hospital, people would be able to go there. Presently now it's a maternal and child welfare clinic.
Okay.
So when that is expanded, and there's a signboard put up there telling you and showing you what is going to happen in the community. So there is expansion for the community, and there is still a lot of work to be done.
Is there a period that in terms of the clinic, the expansion, because again, healthcare is very important. Is there a period that you're projecting? Of course, in collaboration with the Ministry of Public Health, is there a period for that change to be accomplished?
That change will come in 2019.
Okay.
Right? But we're making the residents aware of what is going to happen. As I said, we had that big meeting at the South Rhinefeld School, and all of that was said to our residents, and they're quite happy. Shaka would have said about there's water and electricity given to lots of our residents. It was never given to them before. There were some street lights in Tocqueville, but there will be more street lights being placed in the community because security is also one of the very, very important issues that people are complaining about. The streets are dark and they're being robbed and so. And so working together, there's lots that can be done
to achieve that. All right. Viewers, if you're now tuning in, I'm having a discussion with Her Worship the Mayor, Madam Patricia Chase Green, and of course, Mr. Troy Garraway. They're both from Constituency 12, and of course, he explained it earlier. And I just want to remind you, a vote for Madam Mayor Green is a vote for the APNU, and you know I am PNC and APNU to the core, to the bone. Madam Mayor, I would want to end on a positive note and give you both another opportunity and a chance to remind the public in terms of voting for you and how it can be done and all that. But before I do that, I can't have you come on this program and not addressed, even though not anything specifically, because I know some people out there like confusion. I'm not trying to promote that. But in the last 2 years, from 2016 to now, there have been a lot of negative criticisms, not only against the city council, but you personally, as a person in the job that you do and how you've done it. Do those criticisms in any way phase you or try to deter you, or have you lost the passion and the love for the city in terms of doing everything that you possibly can to make Georgetown a better city?
No, I have not lost the passion to make Georgetown a better city. Have I done that, I would not have been going back for a second term. Criticism, constructive criticism makes me stronger. Even negative criticism, it makes me stronger. It makes me reflect on how people are thinking about what I'm doing or how I'm doing something. And I look at it both ways and see if there's a change that can come in however we're doing things. And I've said before, as mayor of the city of Georgetown, yes, there are many challenges, but we have come a far way prior to what we would have had in early 2016, 2015. Regent Street no longer floods.
True.
The business community could close their eyes. Regent Street no longer floods. You can walk the city. There are no heaps of garbages around the place. There's fresh air you can breathe in. And so the services that are offered, and many people think that the services offered by the Mayor and Council of the City of Georgia is just to collect garbage and clean drains. But there are more services that are offered. And so in doing and looking at every single thing, you have to do a little bit here and a little bit there. We have a maternal child welfare clinic. We have an abattoir. We have daycares. We have an engineers department. We've got lots of complaints. I will not try to shelter that. Yes, we've got lots of complaints. We're working on those complaints for the engineer, all in the interest of improving the services that we're offering to people.
Madam Mayor, as you work on improving those services, and again, finally, before I give you another chance to put your pitch out there, because I think as citizens, sometimes we complain about, including me, sometimes we complain about everything under the sun, and I like to remind people, we're doing that these days because we have a free avenue. We have a thing called Facebook, so we get emotional and we go there. As you talk about what council is doing or what council will do, what you will do, what Troy Garraway will do, to better the city, what is being put in place to ensure that some of us, the residents, the citizens who complain about everything under the sun, are doing our part in terms of keeping our own the areas? Because sometimes you find people complain, okay, every time the rain falls, the street floods. But then you're complaining to me and I come into your yard and it's a mess. Is there anything that can be done to hold us, who are complaining about the authorities and the officials, to hold us accountable?
The law provides for you to hold every resident accountable. If your yard is not clean, if your tree overhangs in other people's yard and the leaves are all over the place, if your vat is not covered, your garbage bin is not there, the law provides for all of that. But in most cases, we try to encourage residents to keep the area clean, to make sure they have a garbage bin or something to put your garbage in and have it covered, your yard stays clean, the drain immediately in front of you. While some neighbors really do keep their place clean and even keep the parapet opposite them clean, they are the very next neighbors who would not do anything at all. And that sometimes frustrates people. As I said, what we're asking everybody, what I'm asking everybody as a candidate now for local government election, let us work together. Because if you clean your space, I clean my space, Troy clears his space, and everybody clean, that entire street would be clean. What we would like to see is maybe business places also adopting a street, adopting an avenue, adopting a park. And so we can all work together. Children in the area, open spaces by you, let us come together and make it a proper play field. Because in every community, there is space allocated for a play field.
Okay.
And that is, according to the law, you must have a play field, whatever area, for recreational purposes. I've been working with community people to do that. Yesterday, someone came from East Rhineville who would like to use a portion of that open space in Mango Lane to put up a caravan, to have a library, and to teach children in the afternoon. And I'm encouraging that person to do so. That's not my constituency. Because I've asked her to talk with the constituency rep in that area and let us move the process forward. Because I am not only concerned with my area, I am concerned with areas from Agricola right down to Commons Lodge. And so I work in every single area, not only my area.
Okay, all right. Perfect. As we prepare to wrap up our conversation again, I want to give you another opportunity for us to end on even, more of a positive note, beginning with you, Troy Garraway. Why should the residents, communities of Constituency 12 come November 12th vote for APNU and for Madam Mayor Patricia J. Green?
The residents of Constituency 12 should vote for APNU and Madam Mayor if they want progress to continue, if they want the constituency to become the model constituency in Georgetown, where we plan to make it a green constituency. Once they want that, they must support Madam Mayor. A vote for anything else is a vote for retrogression. It's a good vote for those dark days when we had our drainage filled, our garbage running over for months, nobody coming to collect it. We had to reserve to burn it in our backyards and so on. I don't think Constituency 12 wants to go back to those days. We want to move forward, and APNU is the way to move forward.
Perfect. And Madam Mayor, the final word for this segment goes to you.
Okay. For continued progress and development in the community of Constituency 12, I appeal to you, vote APNU and vote Patricia Chase Green. We have done quite a lot. We are willing to continue to give everyone that better life, and we will work towards. If we can do a little every day, everything will become very nice, as Troy would have said, for the next 7 generations. And so it's only the APNU would be able to give you that. He spoke about the retrogression if you don't spoke. And residents, staying home is not an option. Even though you may have your challenges and you have some dissatisfaction or whatever, come out and vote. Vote positively. You have seen the change. Let the change continue with further development and progress in every single area. And so I appeal to you. I have done my best with the little that we would have had, and I am pledging myself and the team that we have, and we have a fabulous team together for Constituency 12 in this upcoming local government election on November 12th. Work with us, we work with you, and let us make Constituency 12 the model constituency that everybody will take a pattern of.
Perfect. And I can't think of a better note to end this conversation on. Viewers, if you're now tuning in, you missed a great one. But as usual, those of you who follow me on social media, the conversation will be posted by the end of the day or early tomorrow, both on my YouTube channels and on my Facebook page. This would have been a conversation with Constituency 12 representatives, Mr. Troy Garraway, and of course none other than Her Worship the Mayor, Madam Patricia Chase Green. This is Facing the Nation. As I did promise you on the other side of the break, we're dealing full local government elections business. On the other side of the break, we will be talking to, of course, a sitting councillor, and she's also going again. She has made the rounds on social media, and she's very famous there. So we're going to try to get her to promote. Again, it's all about self-promotion and promoting the APNU. So on the other side of the break, we'll have Miss Richards. Miss Richards, stay with Facing the Nation.